Hi everyone, welcome to this very late video, and excuses or apologies for not delivering the goods for November 2024. This video is about my stock photography and stock videography earnings for the month of December 2024, and I'll be giving the highlights. I'll also be telling what I've been doing in December and where I am now. You probably don't recognize this place, so we'll talk about that. And during the video I'll be delivering how much I earned per agency and if there are any surprises, which there were. A little surprise for Pond5, which was unexpected, and that will be at the end of the video. So what have I been up to? Well, you may have noticed no video in November, and that was because I had two private event shoots to do for two separate weekends. And after each event shoot, I was very consumed with editing hundreds of photos and also doing some short video clips for the clients. One of those events was an international club, and it was indoor. So I had to rent a Canon R6 Mark II, a 24-70 f2.8L lens, and also the 600E something flash to do that job. Because my camera is only the Canon 70D, and it doesn't have what it takes to do a professional job indoors in low light. It only has one memory card as well, so if that fails, there's a lot of unhappy people, including me. I rented that equipment for €200 in total, and what I did was I put that on the bill for the client. So in total I charged €600, maybe 600 and something euros, and in total for the 1 day shooting and 2 days of editing I charged €400, which is probably under the market rate. The person who asked me to do it is a colleague of mine, so I also did it as a favor. Yeah, I am uncomfortable shooting in that kind of environment, but I've done it a couple of times before, and this time was easier for me. If I hadn't had the R6, I probably would have been in trouble, and if I didn't have the Lightroom noise reduction software, I would have been in even more trouble. What I've learnt from a wedding shoot is you really have to make sure my shutter speed is fast enough so that if there is movement, it's not blurred. I made a terrible mistake one wedding where the couple were walking down the aisle, and I just didn't want noise in my photos, and of course I had a too low shutter speed and blurry images, which was not unnoticed by the bride. So I've learned from that mistake, but the trade-off is that you get noisier images. So I think I was doing a shutter speed of between 100 and 100 and, or actually 100 and 200ths of a second. And the ISOs were getting up to about, averaging between 6400 and sometimes 12,800. At one stage, I even got a 21,000, or is it 25,000, the absolute limit, and I put that in Lightroom noise reduction, and somehow the photos didn't look too bad for a couple of those absolute top level noisy photos. So it's a real challenge. It is an absolute challenge to get, if you're doing a group shot, getting everyone in focus. So that probably means f7, f8, and you're looking at your ISO at 12,800 because it was a very dark room. So that was part of the reason why I didn't deliver a video in November. Another reason was I was just super busy with work and also the main job of being a parent. So what have I been up to in December? Well, midway through December, I decided to fly back to Australia to see my family and friends. My mum had a heart attack earlier in the year, and a couple of weeks after that occurred, I decided to come back for Christmas just by myself without family. And Mum is doing really well, so that's a huge relief. So I've had a great time just hanging out together and also with my other family members and catching up with old friends. I've been going to some nature areas and also parts of Hobart and taking waterscapes, coastal scenes. I also went up the east coast and got some really unique Tasmanian photos, like one of the oldest bridges in Australia. It's called the Spiky Bridge, built by colonial slave labour, the convicts that were exported out to Australia from the United Kingdom and Ireland. And I got some lovely wildlife shots as well of some sea eagles, what else? Dolphins and a very large tern colony mixed with gulls. One event took place where a sea eagle was just gliding over a tern colony and hundreds of birds erupted, and almost at the same time, a couple of minutes after, a pod of dolphins swam by. So another really memorable moment from my trip in Tassie. Okay, let's get into it now. Enough jibber jabber, as Mr. T would say, and I'll talk about my stock photography earnings in December 2024. We'll start off with Shutterstock. Shutterstock, I have 2,887 images and 324 videos. I made 29 sales of photos, and that included one video sale for December. A couple of highlights of a very average month for Shutterstock, really. Very slow sales. There was a video sale, and that is a lovely sequence where a red deer in the east of the Netherlands, a national park called the Veluwe, a red deer during the rutting season came out of the forest and into really good light and just started eating something on the ground. So that video, which is a commercial video, earned me $6.54. Another highlight was of a photo I took of a storm tree fall, where during a storm in The Hague, a tree fell over the road and there were some emergency workers removing it. And that photo earned me $4.37. And another not so nice subject is the party drug. I think it's nitrous oxide or helium. Young people inhale that, which is extremely damaging to their nervous system, I think their lungs and their organs and their brain. And that that was a commercial photo of those canisters lying on the ground. That earned me $3.65. All up for Shutterstock, I earned $24.35. Now on to Alamy. Super disappointing. Throughout November and December, I've been uploading very consistently to all of the major agencies, and including Alamy. But despite uploading a lot of what I thought was good quality content, on point with keywords. I only had one sale. By the way, I've got 2,530 images on Alamy now. And the sale I had was a very disappointing $1.69. I took it while I was in Edinburgh, Scotland, and it's of an emblem on a police car of the Scottish police, and that was an editorial photo, $1.69. iStock Getty was picked up a little bit from the previous month, which I'm happy about. I have 1,741 images on Getty iStock and 122 videos. I had 3 video sales, but they were very small amounts. 2 were of the gannet trapped in plastic, $2.40 for those 2, commercial video. And another commercial video of a sandstorm on the beach in The Hague, and that only earned me 54 cents. I did sell 2 iPhone photos when I was walking down the beach one day. I walked past these German cars and I noticed that their windows were broken, and people had obviously broken the windows to steal stuff inside the car. And I sold 2 of those photos for 48 cents each, editorial. And another small, well, not even really a highlight, but an interesting point is a recently uploaded photo of a hand with a knife to take an oyster out of its shell, and on the hand is a chainmail glove. And that sold for $1.16 as a commercial photo. All up for iStock Getty, I made $20.29. A very disappointing month for Adobe stock. I've been uploading a lot, but admittedly a lot of my photos were editorial, and Adobe is kind of notorious for knocking back editorial photos. They're very picky. I have been putting illustrative editorial in the keywords. Hopefully that will push the acceptances more in my favor in the future. There were no real highlights for Adobe stock. I've got 1,434 pictures or photos, and I've got 121 videos with Adobe stock. In total, I only made $12.29. Okay, now to Pond5, which was my most successful agency, and I do believe that December 2024 may have been my most successful month ever at Pond5, which is almost a miracle considering the stock agency market at the moment and the sales rates that I and others usually get with Pond5. But I had 4 video sales. I have around 500 videos in my portfolio for Pond5. 3 of the video sales were of Atlantic salmon swimming in shallow water, which I took while I was in Tasmania with my iPhone. It's an iPhone 2020, and I took it in 4K at 60 frames per second. Another video sale which didn't earn as much as those 3 was of the gannet trapped in plastic. So 2 of the Atlantic salmon videos sold for $60.40 each, which is, it's almost a miracle to me that in comparison to the previous months where I've been selling videos, and even this month for iStock where I sold a video for 54 cents, to sell a video for $60 plus is very pleasing indeed, and really dug me out of a hole for this month. 2 of those sold for $60.40 each, and 1 sold for $16.80. And the gannet trapped in plastic video sold for $6.40. The reason I think that the Atlantic salmon videos sold, because in Tasmania at the moment there's a debate whether some salmon farms in a wilderness area of the state off the west coast in a place called Macquarie Harbour, whether they will be allowed to stay in that location because of they're damaging the ecosystem there. And you have people saying it's got to go because it's endangering wildlife and the environment, and you've got on the other side people saying it should stay because they provide important jobs. So there's that debate, and the Prime Minister of Australia came down to have a look at the situation. So I'm thinking it's a coincidence, and I got 3 decent video sales out of that, just from it being in the news and being in the right place at the right time. All up for Pond5, I made $144. You may ask, how much did I make in total for the month of December? So if you would like to know, perhaps you would consider giving this video a like, or even subscribing or sharing it to other photographers that you might know, and that will help me on YouTube. Thank you very much in advance for that. In total for December 2024, I earned $202.62. Well, that was not too bad a December for me. I guess in later in January I'll be giving you guys a summary of how my year on stock photography went for 2024. So until then, I will catch you in the next video. Bye!